Okay, today we're going to be discussing the strategies for white, and again I'm calling these pieces white there because instead of blue, because that's what you would see in online play and most boards. This set is blue, but the first thing for playing white is you want to, just like playing black, you can create pawn chains, which are diagonals, and those are good structures to have. When white does it, like say in these two moves here, this diagonal, he's preventing the black pieces over here from entering the fights over here. So the white is attacking this sector of the board with that, and basically any of these four inner pieces, you can use to make that any chain. So that chain there is similar to the other one before, but now it's attacking this sector here, and so then there's others to attack the other two. So one thing to say about this is that it is a good idea to do that. You don't have to do it. This creates what's called a slow game, or what some players call a closed game, because it's very close. It's opposed to like moving out there, which would be an open game. So this is closed, and that there's one thing to keep in mind is that the games last longer this way, and white usually wins within 15 moves or so, but playing this way, a lot of times it'll go beyond that, and any time the games go longer, black's chances of winning increase because white has to move. He has half the pieces as black, so he's moving the same pieces around more often than black has to. So over time, you lose efficiency, even if you're sort of playing all right. If you're playing a really good black player, you're going to lose efficiency over time. So you just be careful about that with a closed game. Next thing the next rule for playing white is that you want to get the king off the throne early. I mean, that was 2 moves. You don't have to do it that quickly, but basically, if the king's still on the throne after 10 moves, your chances probably aren't going to look that good. So you want to get the king off the throne early, and also preferably close to the edge. It doesn't have to be the one next to it. Actually, most of the time, prefer this one, the half open row, but. Again, he's more powerful closer to the edge he is. And the next thing you want to concentrate on is you want to keep pieces near the king and the king near his pieces. So you don't, in corner tablet, you don't have to worry about that. You can get the king to the corners just by himself a lot of the time. But this game, when you're playing a good player who's playing black, they're just not going to roll the red carpet out for you and for the king and just make it easy. It's when you're playing a good player who's playing black, it's extremely difficult to get to the edge, and you need to keep the king near his pieces when you do that. Usually it's the king and 2 of his pieces like that. He doesn't have to be sandwiched, but that's the best way. Just kind of near his pieces. And next thing is that generally it's just like with what we said when we were studying the black strategy, it's not a good idea to move the same piece twice or in a row or too often. So you see a lot of beginners move a piece, and then black moves, and then they move it again. They just kind of keep moving the same piece around for the first few moves, 3 or 4 moves or so. Just 2 moves in a row is just unnecessary. You're going to underdevelop your pieces, and black will have the advantage on that because they're developing their pieces better than you. So just this move right here is really great. I mean, there's no really need to move him. You already have presented black with a problem here with this opening up this half open row, and you can move the king out to him. Sometimes I call this an outpost, because it's him, and then another guy will attack the edge. So just make sure that you're not losing development in your play. And the next thing is you want to open up files and half open files. So you know, if what does that mean? Well, here there's, when we get to openings, we'll look at this again. But you know, that was an intentional gambit where White sacrificed a piece in order to open up this row here, and you know, that's a beginner player playing black will do that move. And another one is something like this, where you want them to take that piece. It's the same thing. This happens here because, you know, on the next move, now black has to move here, and then the guy's going to lose this piece. Let's say that's taken, and then eventually here's another created an open row here. So during all those moves there, 2 open rows were created, because that's what White's trying to do. You're trying to, and then move the king to that open row. You want your king to have all those options. You know, once again, this one here would be that one, and then on his next move, so he can get the king. That's checkmate right there. So you know, he does that, and because anytime that this guy's taken up here, you have 2 on there. It's because on the next move you want to open up, the White wants to open up that row there. So the next thing you want to do has to do with that, and that's tempting. White wants to tempt black to lose time, lose tempo, and one way to do that, a really great move, would also be this one here. Moving that way, and then black moves here, and then this, you can do this move. This is a great move that some of the masters do. Basically, you're inviting, you want black to take that, even though the king can't get there on the next move. Black has lost time. See, because black previous move was here, and then so when White moved down there, black would move this piece again, and there's a lot of variations off this, and that's always been shown to be a mistake for black. So that's called losing tempo by gambits, by sacrificing a piece. A gambit actually means, it comes from chess, and that means that White is sacrificing a piece in order to gain tempo. And the next thing White should do, I wrote it down, is just create this word. It's M-I-A-E, and that term comes from Go, or Wei Chi, which is an ancient Asian game from Asia, and that just means that you're going to do 2 attacks at once. You don't always want one front of attack, and you know, again, this is an excellent. It comes in on this move here. Now there's 2 fronts of attack. There's this open row here, which black has to address, and then you're also attacking this piece at the same time to open up this. Remember, we're opening up this file too. So there's you always want to present 2 problems instead of just one for black, if you can. It's much more difficult for black to address 2 fronts and having to choose between two problems. They just always have to just address one problem at a time. You know, so one problem at a time for this one would be, you know, if you just did this, then there's just only one problem that black has to face there. So